Hey you guys, what's up? In today's video, I'm going to be trying out the brand new BH Cosmetics Lunar New Year palette. I'm going to be showing you guys swatches of this palette, and as you guys can see, I've done two different eye looks, so I'm going to be showing you guys how I created these two looks. So really quickly, before we get started, I would really appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So before we start with the eye looks, let's go ahead and do some close-ups of the palette, and I'm going to give you guys some information and show you swatches of all of the shades. So here we have the BH Cosmetics Lunar New Year palette. So this palette is $21 and it has 21 shadows in it. It has mattes, opulent shimmers, and pearlescent neutrals, festive pops of color, and smoky tones. And this palette is also vegan. So now we're going to go ahead and swatch all of the shades in the palette. We're going to first start with the shade called Firecracker. This one is one of the pressed glitters, and it's like a duochrome that goes kind of from like pink to like a greenish gold. It is stunning. Next we have the shade called Yellow Mountain. Fortune. Wow, that swatched really nicely. Princess. Empress. Lantern. And Emperor. So there's the first row of the palette, and I'm really blown away by these swatches. They swatched beautifully. Moving on to the next row. The first shade we're going to swatch is called Yang. Money. Warriors. Mandarin. Mooncake, Red Panda, and Dynasty. So here are the swatches of the second row. Once again, beautiful shades. And now the last row of shadows. First we have Lotus Flower, Gate of China, Temple of Heaven, Great Wall, Dragon, Jade, and Yin. Okay, the black didn't swatch the best, but the rest of the shades are stunning. So as you guys saw, these swatched beautifully. I do want to just mention really quickly before we start the eye looks that I'm not going to be using the pressed glitters in this palette, because on the back of the palette, like when you look at the ingredients, it says that they are face and body glitters, and it says like not eye safe or something like that on the back of this palette. Okay, it also says that the pressed pigments are not intended for use around the immediate eye area. Well, I already used those. Whoops. Okay, well, apparently there are a few in here that are not safe for around the immediate eye area. I don't think I've ever read that on the back of a palette before, but obviously I did not use the pressed glitters because it also like says that about those are face and body glitters, not eye glitters. That is why I don't have any of the glitters on my eyes, but apparently I used the pressed pigments, which say they're not for use around the eye area. So hopefully nothing happens, but yeah, let's go ahead and start the tutorial part of this video. So the first thing I'm going to do, of course, is prime my lids with my P. Louise base. You guys know I love this eyeshadow primer. I say it in literally like every single one of my videos. And I'm just going to blend this out very quickly with a brush. So since I am doing two different eye looks, I feel like I first want to use like this half of the palette with the yellows and green, and then later I'll go into the more like red tone shades on the other eye. So we'll do kind of lighter yellow green eye and then a darker red eye, since we have those as like the main colors in the palette. We have the reds, the greens, and the yellows. So I'm first going to pick up the shade called Yellow Mountain, and I'm just going to start by putting this all in my crease with a fluffy blending brush. So first kind of like patting it so that it sticks to that eyeshadow base, and then I'm going to start like swirling my brush around, and this shade has amazing pigmentation. That is a very, very nice yellow. Now I'm going to take the shade called Warriors, and with a smaller brush, I'm going to kind of just put this on the outer corner area, and then I'm going to start to blend it into the crease. And as you guys can see, this shade has amazing pigmentation as well. I feel like BH Cosmetics kills it with their eyeshadow formula, and this palette is only $21 for 21 shades, so super cheap palette, and the pigmentation is really good. Now I think I'm going to use the shade called Great Wall. This one is just like calling my name for some reason, so hopefully this doesn't mess up the look, but this is a really pretty, kind of like, I don't even know how to describe this shade. It's not a brown, it's almost like a burgundy shade, and I'm just gonna kind of put it on the outer corner like that, and then I'm gonna grab a clean blending brush and kind of diffuse the edges a little bit and like slowly start to blend this into the crease. You guys know I like to do like just a basic kind of like cut crease eye look when I'm trying out a new palette, because that's like my forte, I guess, and that helps me decide like if the palette's good or not, because I know I can do that kind of eye look. I'm gonna try and branch out and do some other eye looks for you guys in the future. I know I need to get out of my comfort zone, so hopefully soon I will be brave enough to try some other kind of eye looks, but for now we're just gonna keep it simple. So I went ahead and cut my crease off camera. Now I'm gonna pick up the shade called Yang. This one is a very interesting shade. It's almost like a duochrome, but I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's like a white with like gold, almost like look kind of like yellowish green glitter in it. And I'm just gonna start pressing this on the inner part of the lid. That is a very, very pretty shade. It's not as metallic as I was expecting it to be. Maybe I should try with my finger. Yeah, definitely looks better with the finger. So I would say that these shimmers are probably better applied with the finger, but then it's easier to be precise like with the brush right along the edge here. So now I'm gonna grab the shade called Mooncake, and I'm just gonna put this all over the rest of the lid. I'm gonna just use my brush first and make sure it's nice and precise, like right along where I cut the crease, and then I'm just gonna pick some up with my finger and kind of tap it on top. Yeah, it looks so much better with the finger for sure. And then I need to go back in with the first shade and kind of blend these two shades together in the center of the lid. So here's where we're at so far. I really like the way that it's looking right now. These shadows are performing very, very nicely. I love that the mattes had like literally no fallout at all. Now I kind of want to make things a little more exciting on this eye. So this might be a terrible idea, but I want to try the shade called Money. I feel like I just have to use this shade. Like for some reason, I just have to use it. And this will be interesting. I'm gonna pop this in the inner corner. Ooh. Okay, I like freaking love this shade. Wow. So this is like a very yellow toned green, and that's just so fun on the inner corner. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just do my lower lash line off camera really quick, because I'm gonna basically be doing the same thing that I did in my crease, like with the yellow and then the orange shade and then the dark brown, and I feel like that might be kind of boring for you guys to see. Actually, you know what? I'll just speed it up for you guys really quick so you guys can see the process. So if we're starting out with the yellow, then the orange a little closer, and then a little bit of the kind of like deep brown burgundy shade. So here is the first eye complete. I did not apply any false lashes. I'm trying to lay off the lashes, and I know a lot of you guys don't even wear false lashes, so hopefully you guys like to see eye looks without false lashes. So let me know what you guys think about this eye look in the comments down below. Now we're gonna go ahead and start the other eye, and I wanna do a more red eye on this side. So I'm first gonna pick up the shade called Red Panda, and with a small little brush, I'm just going to map out the shape of my crease. I'm not gonna go too high with this shade because I do want to use a bunch of the other shades and kind of blend out with the other shades. So we're gonna keep this one pretty tight in the crease. Now I'm gonna take the shade called Mandarin, and this is like a pretty deep, like true red, and I just picked up like a little bit of it, and I wanna go very light-handed, and I'm just gonna like really tightly blend this into the crease right above that first shade. It's better to keep the shades lower than to start blending out too high in the beginning. I cannot get over how good the pigmentation is with these shades, and I have bad self-tan hands. Oh my gosh, so you guys just ignore my hands. I just noticed those right now that you guys can see them. They're so bad. Now I'm gonna take the shade called Lantern. I've been really wanting to use this one. This one is definitely more of like a pinky red, and this eye look is looking pink now. And I'm just gonna blend the shade Lantern once again, like right above, and this is a pretty bright shade. Okay, wow. I thought that was gonna be like lighter, but I feel like it just went on like darker than the last shade. I'm gonna try and diffuse this shade a little higher. Now I'm gonna take the shade called Gate of China, and I'm just going to lightly blend this above the last shade. I'm also gonna mix in some of Lotus Flower, and we're just gonna buff this along all of the edges because I really need them to blend out. So here's where we're at so far. I'm going to go ahead and cut my crease. I just wanted to mention, as you guys can see, this eye definitely turned out very pink. So the red shades in this palette do blend out and look more pink than red. So just keep that in mind if you're really wanting like true red eyeshadows. These definitely blend out and look more pink, which is common with red eyeshadows. I feel like you have to have like really, really good quality reds to not blend out to pink. And these definitely just kind of look pink on the eyes, which I don't personally mind because I love pink eyeshadows. But if you are wanting like an actual red look, these do blend out kind of pink. So for the lid, I'm first going to take the shade called Temple of Heaven. And I'm just going to kind of put this in the inner corner and blend this backwards. Now I'm going to take the shade called Empress, and I'm going to put this on the rest of my lid. And of course, kind of blend these two together in the center. So now that the upper lid is done, we're going to go ahead and move on to the lower lash line. So I'm pretty much just going to do the same thing that I did in my crease. So I'm actually first going to start with the darkest shade called Red Panda. And I'm just going to kind of press this against the lower lash line, connecting to the outer corner. Now I'm going to take Lantern, the kind of more like pinky bright red, and I'm going to put this one towards the inner part and blend backwards. And then I'm going to blend those together with the shade called Lotus Flower with like a little fluffy brush. So here are the completed looks. These honestly don't even look like they came from the same palette. It's very weird to me because this just shows like how versatile this palette is just by looking at it. This eye look doesn't even look like it came from this palette, so just keep that in mind. The red shades really did blend out and look like almost like hot pink shades. It reminds me of a very like Valentine's Day look. But I am super impressed with the quality of these. I really wish they didn't include the glitters in here because, as you guys know, I didn't use them. It says that they're face and body glitters, and some of these say that they're not eye safe, so I didn't use the glitters on my eyes because I didn't even want to mess around with that. The pressed glitters were gorgeous when I swatched them, but I don't know about putting them on your eyes. Basically, it's kind of like use at your own risk type of thing. I definitely think they could have made this palette with just more shimmery shades. I wish they would have just done it with these glitters like as those shimmer shades because I think that they are gorgeous shades. But all of the other shades were beautiful. The mattes were super pigmented. They blended out so nicely. The pigment like didn't fade away whenever you blend these shades out. They're really good. And then the shimmer shades were gorgeous as well. So yeah, I really like this palette a lot. I love all of the different looks that you can create with it. I definitely want to use the green like shimmer shade right here. I love that they included some greens. I love this green in the inner corner. So I'm definitely going to be creating some more looks with this palette. I would definitely give it a thumbs up. I think it's an amazing price, especially for the quality. BH Cosmetics has amazing eyeshadows. I have been loving their stuff. Like over the past year, I've really been getting more into their palette. So yeah, this palette was really good. The only negatives I would say are that there are a bunch of glitter shades in here that I don't know if I would use those on the eyes. And then the red shades did blend out and look pink. If you guys like more pink eyeshadows, you might actually like that the red shades are more pink. I personally love pink eyeshadows, so I am not mad at this eye at all, but just keep in mind that it's not what I expected. Like, this is not what I expected this eye to look like by the end. So let me know what you guys think about this palette in the comments down below. Let me know which eye look you guys like better. So yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Also, make sure you have your notifications turned on. That way you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.